You call their name, and they don't answer. You ask a question, and they shrug. You try to connect, and they look at you like you're a stranger. Few things are more painful than being ignored by your own child. You sacrificed. You stayed up late. You worked hard to give them a better life. And now, they roll their eyes when you speak. You feel the anger rise, the urge to lecture, the need to force respect. But what if that's the exact moment where power is lost? What if the most effective thing isn't raising your voice, but lowering your reaction? The Stoics understood this centuries ago. When you're disrespected, the most powerful thing you can do is not react emotionally, because your calm is your command. Stoicism isn't about being passive. It's about leading with principle. It's about showing your children that your peace isn't fragile, that their chaos doesn't control your center. So if your kids don't listen, if they test your patience, don't chase their respect with words. Earn it through your presence. Let's talk about how Stoicism gives you the upper hand. Not over your kids, but over yourself. It's easy to believe that respect is earned through authority. By raising your voice, by laying down the rules, by demanding to be heard. But what if the opposite is true? What if real respect, the kind that lasts, is earned through calm, through consistency, through quiet strength? The Stoics taught that the only thing truly in your control is your mind. Not your child's behavior, not their tone, not their mood. Only your response. And that's where your power lies. Why reactivity doesn't work. When your child ignores you, rolls their eyes, or pushes your buttons, it can feel like a personal attack. It stings. But the moment you lash out, the moment you react in anger, you've lost your footing. You've given them control of your emotions. And once you do that, you're no longer leading. You're chasing. The Stoics would say, that's a battle you don't have to fight. Anger might feel powerful in the moment, but it almost always leads to regret. Words spoken in frustration don't build respect. They build distance. The Stoic alternative, leading through presence. Imagine a parent who doesn't flinch. A father who remains calm when his teenage son slams the door. A mother who responds with silence when her daughter throws a sarcastic comment. Not cold silence, but intentional, composed silence. The kind that says, I'm still here. I'm not shaken, and I'm not giving you my peace. That's Stoicism in action. It's not weakness. It's emotional discipline. It's leading by example. Teaching your kids how to handle their own emotions by showing them how you handle yours. When you consistently show that your emotions don't depend on theirs, something shifts. They may not say it. They may not show it right away. But inside, they feel your strength. And that strength is magnetic. Respect can't be forced. You can demand obedience through fear. But respect, true respect, is never taken. It's earned. And it's earned not through power plays, but through inner power. Think about the people you truly admire in life. Chances are, they weren't the loudest. They didn't scream for attention or demand respect. They moved with quiet confidence. They were firm, but calm. Clear, but measured. That's the parent Stoicism helps you become. Control the controllables. Your child might rebel. They might say things that hurt. They might drift, ignore, or even reject your guidance. But here's the key Stoic truth. You don't control their behavior. You only control how you show up. Show up with consistency. Show up with composure. Show up with principle. And let go of the rest. That doesn't mean being passive. It means choosing deliberate action over emotional reaction. Set boundaries firmly. Speak calmly. Walk away, if needed. But never, ever lose yourself in the chaos of their emotions. Because the moment you do, you've stopped being their guide and started being their mirror. Stoicism invites you to do something radical, to stop trying to win the moment, and start playing the long game, to lead not through control, but through presence, to stop demanding respect, and become someone who naturally commands it. That's not easy, but neither is parenting. And the Stoics never promised ease, only growth through discipline. Keep in mind that it isn't the one who abuses or hits you who insults you, but the view you take of these things as insulting. Epictetus and Chiridion. Let's break that down. Epictetus is saying, what hurts us is not what happens. It's how we interpret what happens. If someone yells at you, that's just sound. If someone ignores you, that's just silence. It only becomes disrespect when you assign meaning to it. When you decide, this is personal, this is unacceptable, this means I'm failing. But what if you didn't take it that way? What if you trained yourself, as the Stoics did, to create distance between the event and your reaction? That space is where freedom lives. Applying this to parenting. Let's say your child walks away while you're speaking, doesn't answer your question, shows you attitude. The immediate interpretation is, they don't respect me. But what if that moment isn't about you at all? Maybe they're overwhelmed. Maybe they're testing limits. Maybe they're still learning how to handle their own frustration. Just like you once did. When Epictetus says that offense is in your perception, he's not saying disrespect doesn't exist. He's saying you have the power to choose how to frame it. If you tell yourself, this is an opportunity to teach, not to control, everything changes. Reclaiming power through reframing. The Stoic doesn't pretend to feel nothing. They feel everything, but they filter what they act on. You might feel hurt when your child is cold to you, but reacting out of that hurt, yelling, guilt-tripping, demanding apologies, only reinforces chaos. The Stoic approach? Observe the feeling. Name it. I feel disrespected. Then ask, is this worth my peace? Or is this an opportunity to rise above? You're not denying your humanity. You're mastering it. And when your kids witness that restraint, that ability to feel deeply but act wisely, they're learning, even if they don't say a word. Epictetus and the Stoic teacher. In ancient times, Epictetus was a teacher who lived what he taught. Born a slave, physically disabled, and often challenged by students, he was no stranger to disrespect or conflict. But he believed that a wise person must respond from principle, not from ego. Imagine a student mocking him or challenging his ideas. Epictetus didn't snap. He didn't argue to win. He taught calmly. And if they didn't want to learn, he let them walk away. He knew, your value doesn't decrease because someone else refuses to see it. That same idea applies to parenting. Your value as a parent isn't measured by how obedient your kids are in the moment. It's measured by how steady you remain in the storm. The role of silence. Sometimes the most stoic move is saying nothing, not out of defeat, but because silence allows emotions to cool. It gives space for reflection. It says, I won't play that game. I'll wait. I'll lead differently. When your child yells and you stay calm, you break the pattern. When they disrespect you and you respond with stillness, you show maturity. Not weakness, but authority rooted in wisdom. Final thought. If you constantly try to correct every act of disrespect immediately, you're training them to respond to emotion with more emotion. But if you stand firm, consistent, composed, present, your silence becomes the lesson. As Epictetus would say, what harms you is not what they do, it's what you believe about what they do. And once you change that belief, you reclaim your power. Today's world isn't the same one we grew up in. Children are growing up surrounded by distractions, smartphones, social media, endless comparisons. They're exposed to more pressure, more noise, more confusion than ever before. And as a parent, you often feel powerless. You try to guide them, and they roll their eyes. You try to discipline them, and they shut down. You try to connect, and it feels like you're speaking a different language. It's frustrating. It's exhausting. And yes, sometimes it hurts. But this is exactly where Stoicism becomes not just useful, but necessary. The power of modeling, not controlling. You can't control their behavior, but you can control the climate of the home. Your tone, your energy, your consistency. Kids don't always listen to what you say, but they never miss what you do. If you explode in anger every time they ignore you, you're teaching them that emotion equals power. But if you remain calm, if you pause, if you speak with clarity and act with purpose, you're modeling self-control, the foundation of respect. In today's world, emotional reactivity is everywhere, but calm is rare. And calm, when practiced consistently, becomes magnetic. Discipline without drama. Being stoic doesn't mean you let them do whatever they want. It means you set boundaries, without emotional outbursts, threats, or guilt. For example, if they ignore you when asked to do a task, don't shout or plead. Simply follow through with a logical consequence. No drama, no lectures. Just, you didn't follow through, so here's the result. Your firmness doesn't need to come from volume. It comes from quiet certainty. And over time, they'll learn. My parent doesn't shout, but they always mean what they say. When they pull away, it's natural for children, especially teens, to pull away, to test, to challenge. But don't confuse distance with disrespect. Often, when they seem cold, they're just overwhelmed, and your calm presence becomes their emotional anchor, even if they don't admit it. The more you push, the more they resist, but the more you hold steady, the more they realize you're not going anywhere. You are the constant in a chaotic world. That's how Stoicism becomes deeply effective in parenting. You don't fight for control. You embody it. The long game. In the moment, you may feel unseen. But Stoic parenting isn't about quick results. It's about long-term influence. 10 years from now, they won't remember every rule you set, but they will remember how you stayed calm when things got hard, how you treated them with respect, even when they didn't show it in return, how you were strong without ever being cruel. In a world of shouting, you led with silence. In a world of control, you led with discipline. And in a world of ego, you led with wisdom. That's what they'll carry with them. One day they'll remember, not what you said in frustration, not the lectures or the punishments, but how you carried yourself when they were at their worst. They'll remember the look in your eyes when they slammed the door, the silence you held when they pushed you away, the calm you chose when chaos begged for a reaction. That's what Stoicism gives you. The strength to lead without shouting, to correct without cruelty, to love without losing yourself. You're not raising a child for convenience. You're raising a human who will face their own storms one day. And the greatest gift you can give them is this: an example of someone who doesn't chase control, someone who stands firm without needing to dominate, someone who shows that peace is power. You might not see the reward today. They might not say thank you tomorrow. But years from now, when they're struggling to manage their own emotions, they'll remember you. How you didn't yell. How you didn't fold. How you loved them with quiet strength. So next time they ignore you, don't get angry. Breathe. Lead. Your calm is your legacy. Let it speak louder than your words ever could.